Welcome back to SAFC Live. Unfortunately, it was a defeat on the road for Sunderland this afternoon, and we'll look back at the action in a moment, but frustration was the main overriding feeling for yourself this afternoon, Danny.
I think so, yeah. I think overall we're probably the better team. You look at all the stats, opportunities, ball possession, all those sort of stats, but it's what you do in the game, isn't it, with the ball? If you don't put the ball in the back of the net, and if you get caught cold on the counter-attack, and I think that was the case really, especially the second one. Great strike from Whittaker, as we said, for the first goal. Sometimes you can say you can't do much about those strikes. They'll debrief it. Could we have got a little bit tighter? Possibly, but sometimes you hold your hands up and say, great strike.
Got some of the stats in from the game if you'd like to hear them, Danny. So possession stat is one that you always look for first. 67% possession to 33. Plymouth Argyle. Sunderland having 5 shots on target, 7 shots off target. Corners 14 to their 4. So throughout the game you felt like Sunderland were almost in those situations where they could have got an extra shot in, or that final ball. There was many times the ball was cut back into the box, but there was no one on the end of it.
Just dropping to the wrong person. That's what can happen, as you say. In that first half, Jack got into good positions, cutting it back. It was just ahead of Dan Neil. It was just behind Patrick. Second half, we've seen it time and time again. Lovely ball, stood up, just asking for somebody to come and get on the end of it, but it was just dropping to a Plymouth player. So it was one of those days. We've hit the woodwork a couple of times, haven't we? As you said, keepers made 1 or 2 saves as well. Sometimes you get in there as a team, they'll be looking around at each other, shaking their heads and thinking, what could we have done a little bit more? But it's putting the ball in the back of the net, being ruthless. And we've said it for all the good play we have at times. You've got to when you're on top in games, or when you're certainly looking to get back into games, as we were there, second half. You've got to put the ball away. And if we'd have got one in that first 5 minutes after half time, the lads would have been up. And you're thinking, you could sense it. We'll go and get the second, possibly going to win the game. But we couldn't put the ball away, made all the changes, and then the game just fizzled out towards the end. Let's
go with the action from the game. And Sunderland did get off to a really good start in both halves, Danny, you could say, as we look through the action, but unable to make it count.
Yeah, and this is one that I've mentioned, isn't it, there? And I think more often than not, Jack has got that composure about him just to get his head up and just to roll it across, and you see he goes past his man, and then Dan Neil coming into your picture there, just weight it into his path there, and he's got a side foot finish. What is he, 10 yards out? He probably puts us in front, but we were at it, saying it, and say it's a long journey down, not so much for the players because I think they flew down, but they were at it early on after the international break, coming off the back of the Birmingham win. You're thinking, come on then, and I thought, right, we're at it. We were picking up the loose balls, second balls. We were looking sharp all over the pitch, but it's in those moments in games where you've got to put the ball in the back of the net, because teams are always in games, aren't they? For all the lovely play you have and dominating the ball, you've got to put it in the back of that net. And even here, look, you see ball goes in there, Rusin miscontrols it off his chest, Luke's in behind him. It's a difficult one, it's on his left foot. He's not naturally left-footed, straight into the ground, isn't it? And it's a save from the goalkeeper. But here we go. They've played it through the thirds here. We haven't seen the build-up play, and then comes out to Whittaker, and he just lashes one, doesn't he? Cuts across it there. There'll be movement on that. We're not quite seeing it from behind, but say it comes in there off Niall.
I think that's why initially I thought it might have took
a deflection. Yeah, you're saying that, but we haven't quite got that angle from it to see it fully from behind, have we? But there it passes Dan Neil to Dan's left, and then it obviously goes away from Anthony Patterson and finds its way into that far corner. So. Yeah, listen, from his point of view, it's a great strike, isn't it? And here we go. We were driving. There was a patch after that goal there where it becomes scrappy, and it almost suits Plymouth, doesn't it? We're dominating the ball, and there was a lot of fouls going on. Trey Hume was on the end of a couple of nasty ones, wasn't he? But even there, look, we've got 5 bodies in the box there, and again, Jack, I think, is maybe looking to pick Dan Neil out again, just ahead of Dan, and it comes to Patrick, and on his favoured left foot, he'll be disappointed when he sees that back patch. He'll think, I'm more than capable of passing that into that left-hand side corner. A good firm side foot finish, and he's finding the bottom corner. And then a few minutes later, there's that setting. It's a lovely ball out, this one there. First time pass, lovely punch pass, isn't it? There, I think Luke put the brakes on a little bit, maybe. I know it's difficult. He's running back towards his own goal. If he pulls the trigger first time, he's probably finding the bottom corner. So Luke thinks, I've got to try and get back goal side of him. But then he just chops inside, doesn't he? And then it's a decent finish into that bottom corner.
Zaz on loan from Aston Villa this season as well.
Yeah, there's another one again. Let's see, 5 bodies in there again. Jack's back there. I think, is he trying to pick Dan out? Is he looking for Rusin's feet? But they've got Mumba's getting back there to cut it out, and then here is the one that Jack finds Job. A little bit of movement there. Jack pulls it back, and we said it, didn't we, just before? If that goes in right on half time there, you're thinking, right, the lad's going in with a little bit more belief and confidence in us now that we're back in the game. We're only a goal behind, but it comes off the outside of the post. I think keeper's beaten. You look at the keeper's reaction. He's just hoping, isn't he, that he's wrong-footed. His body weight's going to the left, and that one's finding that bottom corner. And then second half, they didn't have too many opportunities, did they? This one, straight after half-time, really, wasn't it? I think they played through the middle of us there. And to be fair to the boys, they get back there. I think Trey makes a block on that one. I think it's Niall that gets a block on the second one. But other than that, we didn't have to do any defending, really, in that second half, did we? Listen, you can say from their point of view, they're at home. They've got themselves a couple of goals in front. And they didn't have to really go and push on, did they? And
they didn't. I don't think they particularly time wasted that badly
either,
did they?
I don't think so. No, not at all. No, they just didn't have any of the ball. I know we've had, 67% of it?
Yeah.
Probably 75 in the second half, not as much in the first half overall there. But you see there, Trey's hit the post there with the header.
Oh, she's going close
here. This is a big chance. He's what is he, 12, 14 yards out.
Has he pulled out a little bit to try and get the direction on it?
No, I think Luke's obviously set it and he just hasn't caught it clean. He's cut across it outside of his boot, and that swerve on it's taking it past the post. But look at these are some good opportunities we're having at this point. That one not so much for Jack. Again, that pops up there. Meanders there. Another day that just sits for him to tap it in, and we're classing it as a big mistake from the goalkeeper. But yeah, it just felt like it was coming, didn't it? Sorry, here's another one for Plymouth now, isn't it? Yeah, Mumba, forgot about this one, sorry. Yeah, he's in there, he's made a good run forward. Whittaker, lovely weight on it. Sealt's come on, can't make a challenge there, brings him down, he's probably getting sent off. Trey's getting across, but he'll be disappointed. Barley Mumba, he's not hit the target. This one for Jack, isn't it? I think he has got to try and doom it as near post there, Jack. I think gives the goalkeeper the eyes, but you see it on this one now, I think he actually hits it onto his other foot as he gets the strike away. You can see by the rotation on the ball there. Again, Jack involved now. This one's not a handball, is it? 1 or 2 appealing, but I think the defender comes across, gets the block in. And this is the big opportunity for him. Again, he looked a handful coming off the bench, didn't he? He was making runs in behind. 1 or 2 things didn't quite sit for him, but just too much on that first touch there. Doesn't need to shift it as far as he does, just a yard or 2, and the next one's a finish. I think I've seen Haaland's goal earlier on. You said you've seen the game. It's pretty much in that situation there. Yeah. Just a little touch across the goalkeeper bottom corner. I actually think Dan Ballard gets a little nick on that there. I think you can see it on that first shot. Not too many appealing for the corner for Plymouth. This the one stood up. Yeah, another one. See there again. Look at a lot of these clips here. We've got 5 or 6 bodies in the box in this 6-yard box, 18-yard box, but nobody get another one there. Stood up. Nobody there powering in to get on the end of it. Dan Ballard's the man you want there at the far post to come in, because he takes the lot there. Dan, if it stood up. See there now. You've got Dan Neil in there, Bradley Dack, Jack Clark, and then Dan Ballard on a follow-up save from the goalkeeper. So yeah, frustrating afternoon. Plenty of chances there. Probably didn't deserve to get beat, if we're honest. But how many times have we said that? I think we've lost 6 games this season, possibly. And not too many of them. Middlesbrough won aside. Not too many of them we've deserved to get beat, but that's football, isn't it? Yeah, certainly is. Let's have a look around at the games in the Championship this afternoon. There's still one to play, and there was one played last night, which was 1-1 between Rotherham and Leeds. Birmingham City 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1. So Sheffield Wednesday's wars continue. Birmingham City getting their first win under Wayne Rooney. Bristol City 3, Middlesbrough 2. Huddersfield Town 1, Southampton 1, Leicester City 2, Watford 0, Millwall 0, Coventry City 3, Norwich City 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0, Preston North End 1, Cardiff City 2, Stoke City 0, Blackburn Rovers 3, Swansea City 2, Hull City 2. Yeah, some big results there around us as well. I think a lot of them have gone for us. I think obviously Cardiff beating Preston as well. I think Cardiff might have gone above us. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the league table then. And that's showing down from 3rd. And that place occupied by Leeds United at the moment on 32. Sunderland taking no points away from this afternoon, meaning they're down in 9th, Danny. Yeah, still tight, isn't it? We'd have gone, as you say, with the win there, we'd have gone above Preston into 5th place with the decent goal difference. But, see, 1 or 2 capitalised. Cardiff, good result for them, beating Preston, wasn't it? So they've gone up to 6 now. But yeah, so we've got to bounce back.
Just in that section there, Danny, there's only West Brom who haven't played the same amount of games as us. So, the result the right way.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Look at that, from Middlesbrough down in 12th now, 24 points up to Preston on 28. So 4 points between. Not too many places there, is there? But we've got to get back to it now. Go again in midweek and try and bounce back against Huddersfield.
Okay then, let's try some hashtags then and see what you've been saying around the world and where perhaps you are around the world as well. Robert's been in touch. What's the main transfer target we should be looking for in January? I think we need an out striker. Give us them goals to push for promotion. Do we need a striker? Do you think Naz Rusin and Mayanda occupied some good positions today?
I thought Rusin started the game really well in his previous outings. I think he looks promising. I think we just said, didn't we? He just needs to get himself a goal and get himself going. He had one effort, didn't he? A little running behind in the first half. Defender come across and made a good block. But this has got to be a question that keeps coming up. We said before today we were 5th top scorers with Plymouth on 27.
Yeah, without the striker
scoring a goal. So it's that sort of conundrum, really, isn't it? We're getting goals from elsewhere, obviously.
I think the stats would say we're getting into the positions. Yeah. We've got the personnel in and around the strikers. Yeah. We've got options for strikers, and now they're coming close. Those strikers, you're probably going to stick with them. You'd imagine. There's numbers of them as well, isn't there? There's 4 of them.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, so you've got Hemir, Mason Burstow, didn't see him today, those 2. Rusin obviously come off at half-time.
And Mayenda's getting minutes.
As well. Yeah. And Mayenda, I think, again, is another one. He's obviously catching up in terms of his match fitness. It looks like he's going to be a handful.
What's that, 60 minutes he's played in a Sunderland shirt altogether?
But yeah, and then, so obviously if you're looking at bringing more strikers in, what you're doing with these lads, you can't have 5 or 6 strikers sitting around the club, do you know what I mean? Usually, if you have 2 or 3 in the matchday squad. We've got a lot of number 10s as well, haven't we? The likes of Alex Pritchard, Bradley Dack, O'Sheesh, these types of players just in behind the strikers as well. But yeah, it's a frustrating one. It's not as if these strikers can come off the pitch and say, I'm getting no service here, I'm not getting any opportunities. Look at the highlights there, the amount of ball we've fed into the 6-yard box, not just the 18-yard
dangerous area,
6-yard box in that second half this afternoon, so just need one of these strikers to get a goal, and then maybe you get on those little runs. Obviously I was a defender, but I think for strikers, naturally, if one of these goes in off one of the strikers' backsides, a little bit of confidence comes, that little bit of weight off their shoulders, and they're off and running. Can they go on a little bit of a run and start scoring goals? But I'm sure, listen, it's something that they're obviously looking at as well, coming into the window. Maybe, Ross moved on, but was it £10 million? Are they looking at putting some of that back into the transfer kitty? To go and get a striker, they might feel, look, we're pretty much suited and sorted elsewhere.
It's always an inflated market, though, isn't it? The January one. So maybe the loan market is something they could look into, but we're not privy to those conversations.
No, exactly that. Yeah. So do you spend a bit of money to go and get a loan, maybe from a Premier League team who've got 1 or 2 sitting round and they think he might do us a job, or do you go lower league, someone who's maybe got 10, 15 goals? There's options out there, or they might feel we've got to stick with what we got. We're going to back them, and hopefully, as you said there, one of them gets off the mark and they can go on a little bit of a run.
Good, yeah. Let's have a look at some more thoughts on hashtag Ask Danny. This one's from Rich NASA. That's the American branch of the Supporters Associations at Liberty Commons, Toronto, for a full English and a footy. Nice to see you, Rich. Ashley is also in touch, watching all the way from New York. Paul, Ashley, and Ella. We're the lads. That's what Ashley says. This one's from Owen. If you could add one EFL player to our team, who would it be? Watching from Perth. There we go, question. Owen, watching from down under. Who have you seen in the Championship this season? Has anyone really stood out for you, Danny?
I'll probably take someone like, at this moment in time, Jamie Vardy or Ian Atcho.
Yeah, you almost forget their Championship players, don't you?
Someone who's going to get some goals. Probably Ian Atcho would be the one. Yeah. I think he can do a little bit, he can work it around the box, can take it deeper, get around the pitch as well. So we're obviously not going to get him, but he'd probably be the one I'd go for at this moment in time. I think top end of the pitch, yeah.
Okay then. Yeah. We have more hashtags. Let's have a look. This one's from Jonathan. Why on earth is O'Sheesh not starting? Why do you think?
Well, it's easy to ask that question. Whether was that posted at half-time before the game? I'm not sure what time it was posted there, but it's easy to ask that question after the game now.
He obviously likes him and thinks he's a good,
of course,
good player.
I think
scored in the last game.
It's always going to be a debate, isn't it? The starting 11, especially when you've lost the game. Well, why isn't he playing? Why isn't he? There wouldn't have been too many raise their eyebrows before the game. As I say, that team, bar the 2 centre-backs, has gone and got 3 points against Birmingham.
Yep.
So where do you play O'Sheesh in that setup, really? We've got a few players who I'm not sure on what their sort of strongest positions are. To me, he looks like a bit of a number 10. Number 8 really drops down a little bit deeper. Will he go and play out wide? Not really seeing him as a wide man, really. Then does he going to play instead of Jack on the left? No. Patrick,
maybe.
I don't know. You've got Barr who's competing for that one out there as well. I think there's probably a place in there. It'd be good to see him get a start. But you asked the question before on comms, 3-game week. Will he look to freshen it up? Well, he might well do that now. He might think, do you know what, I'll give him a little run out. See, there was
he made the changes at half-time, didn't he?
Yeah, so he could have had a couple of goals there. The one right after half-time, side netting, that one where he sliced it. He gets involved higher up the pitch. He's got a little pass in him. I think it was him that played Mayenda in, who took the touch wide. So, yeah, I think he causes problems when he's on the pitch, so I'm sure it's something that Tony's having a look at.
I think we have one final one. Last one from Nazim, who says, thought we had a good game generally. I think Danny would agree with you there, and would agree that the 3 subs disrupted a good spell we were having. Do you think the subs disrupted us at all?
Do you mean our subs there? Because obviously we brought the 2 on, and then
we made the 3, didn't we?
Later on. So
it was about 70 minutes-ish.
Possibly, it's hard to gauge, isn't it? You can't do right as a manager, can you? Sometimes they get criticised when they make the subs too late. Why haven't they made them earlier?
I guess if you're 2-0 down as well, you might as well go for it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think he's looking at it, Tony. I think as a manager, you're watching, you're hoping. Your subs have an impact now. O'Sheesh just come on at half time with Mayenda, and they were in the thick of it straight away. He's right. We did have a good spell straight after half time. Just said it there. O'Sheesh had a couple of opportunities. Mayenda's had opportunities. Then he's looking at Bradley Dax. Come on, he's brought Abdullah Barr on. We say it with Abdullah Barr. You don't know what you're going to get. He's always in the thick of the action. Didn't quite happen for him today, really. Who else am I missing? Sealt obviously come on at the back end. I was thinking, why has he brought Jensen Sealt on there for obviously Niall Huggins? Trey went across the left back. So what was the thought process in that one? Maybe just for set plays. Obviously a little bit more height. You've got Dan Ballard in there, Luke going forward, and obviously Jensen going forward as well. Can we get something from a set play? So you've got to try things as a manager. It's always easy, isn't it? I think when you're not in that dugout, you're not in that technical area. I've not been there, yet. But they've got to make decisions, and sometimes as a manager you make that change. Substitution sub comes on, scores after 30 seconds. Manager's getting all the praise for it. Oh, he's made a great change. It didn't happen today, but he's made those changes. So I don't think you can criticise him. It was just one of those days where, it's a bit of a cliche, isn't it? You could play till 8 o'clock tonight and the ball just wouldn't go in for us, and it just felt like that day. So feel sorry for the fans that have made the journey down. We said before the game, if we don't get back on the bus with the 3 points, it's going to be a long old journey back. It's 7 hours plus. It's not going to be a good one for those fans coming back up.
Okay then, if they do get back in time, they will see Sunderland back in action here on SAFC Live, and that's on Wednesday evening here at the Stadium of Light, where we're broadcasting from right now. It'll be a lot busier than it is behind us on that occasion. 7:45 kickoff against Huddersfield Town, which means we'll be on air pitch side from 7 p.m. So join us for that one around the world. Hasn't been Sunderland's day, but they are back in action on Wednesday. We'll see you soon.